What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk 49 live on Bucks Report every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Monday doing post-game, Friday doing pre-game, along with the winning angle. Today, we're going to talk about the winning angle, keys to victory, injury report, what I had yesterday and what's been updated today, Madden 21 predictions, and listen to a Brady interview talking about relationship with Arians, starting faster, running back position, and all that. But first, we get into that. Oh, and as always, we'll look forward to hearing you guys' questions and comments and responding to you guys. But before we get to all that, we're going to hear from our sponsor, and then we'll come back after that, after the sponsors, and then we'll get straight into it. You guys just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Power bill through the roof? At 320 Solar, that power bill will be no more. In fact, about 90% of our customers report lower solar payments than with electricity. That's more power in your pocket. 320 Solar. Power up. Going solar with 320 may cost you nothing down. But the work we do is not a $0 job. With a 10-year roof penetration warranty and solar panels guaranteed for 25 years, you can have peace of mind knowing we will do the job right every time without question. .320 Solar. Power up.
Cause I let it slide. Doesn't mean it isn't pulling on my heart until it's almost white. Cause I wanna let you feel strong.
What's up, everybody? And we're back. Now let's get straight into it. I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sports Talk 49, powered by 320 Solar. Go to 320solar.com for all your solar needs. Let's go down the list, shall we? Fast Track Cannabis Clinics of America, nation's largest medical marijuana doctor with over 2,500 state licensed doctor in all 32 states. Medical marijuana is legal. Go to My Cannabis Card. effectively links new patients with close to state licensed medical marijuana doctors near them while saving over 30% on evaluation costs. Just mention myself, Bucks Report, or any other great shows here on BR. Finally, say goodbye to the electric bill and put the power back into your pocket. Go to 320solar.com. Pay nothing out of pocket till 2022. eWire Solutions, smart home electrical. Go to ewiresolutions.com or call 813-667-2003. You want to look good? You want to feel good? Go to Daniela Styling Studios. Go to www.ladybarberdaniela.bookski.com and book your appointment today. She's got your best needs in mind. Last but not least, the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol. Come check out Cedric Robinson in the game. Peter Blake in the Sports Web doing live remotes there every Sunday away and home for the Sports Web doing pre, half, and post game, of the Buccaneers while taking phone calls and talking to fans and fans' reaction after the game. So make sure to check that out and see all your Bucks Report favorites. Ray Kennedy, what's going on? Milo, Eric, everybody, welcome to the show. And let's get straight into it. As I said earlier, we're going to do the winning angle, keys to victory, what I think, injury report, what I got yesterday, and then what happened today, the update, Madden 21 predictions, listen to a Brady interview, and we'll just talk from there. Because Brady talks about some stuff that you want to talk about, as well as going on to some other things. And we'll talk about, playing the Atlanta Falcons twice out of the next 3 games. Buccaneers are lucky they don't have to play any really cold weather. They're going to go to Atlanta and play in a dome. I'm assuming they're going to have it closed. They'll go to Detroit, which is another dome up there in the winter in December. Excuse me. And then they'll be back here in Tampa Bay to play the Falcons again to finish off the season. And hopefully already clinched a playoff spot heading in there for the first time since 2007. So that's interesting here. So let's go out to Brady, and then I will pretty much just talk from there because he talks about a lot of talking points that I've brought up in the past. And, we'll just go from there. Check it out.
Yeah, it's tough, because those are important plays earlier in the game because, if you hit them, then you are on the field, and it's not only 5 plays, and then you get in the rhythm earlier. And I kind of said after the game, you got to be sharp from the moment you take the field. And I think for me, it's about, it always comes back to technique, and I'm always analyzing why something worked or why something didn't work, whether that's a play or throw or, a thought in my head. Sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's physical, and then you just got to try to make the correction. If you feel like it was a very decisive play and you missed the throw, might have to do something with your technique, your mechanics, your timing. If you're kind of in between, it can be a little mental issue where you just couldn't, you just wanted to pull the trigger a little bit quicker, but you didn't get to it. And then you got to try to just play quicker in your head. So it can really be a number of things. And regardless, you got to clean it all up. Nothing is, you got to work hard to make sure that it's an unproductive play is an unproductive play, whether it's a physical error, a mental error, and it could be either or. So, from my standpoint, I want to be decisive. I want to try to eliminate gray area and, go out and play really technically and fundamentally sound so that I can throw the ball as accurately as possible. I feel like we have a great relationship. From the moment I got here, we've had just great dialogue, and I certainly appreciate all the insight he gives me and, the way that he coaches and leads, and we're making the best of it. It's like I said, it's very open, honest, dialogue about, how we think that we can, certainly how I can be most effective, and any questions he has. We always have a great open lines of communication. So I really enjoyed my time, obviously, getting to know him and have great admiration for him as a coach, as a man, as what he is off the field and how he commands and leads the team. We got a really talented backfield, and we just got to continue to find ways to use them all so that they can all be productive. Well, I think we're talking about winning 1 game against the Falcons, so that's kind of where it is for us. And then I think, This is our notebook. You think we're building rockets with the amount of information that's in here, just for a bunch of football players. So that all adds up, and all those plays add up, all the schemes add up. And over the course of the year, you get to December. I think the nice part about December is, when you scout an opponent, you feel like you really know them pretty well because they're not putting in a new defense this week. They're going to run what they run. They've been running what they run all year. You got to try to evaluate what the strengths and weaknesses are. I'd say the challenges are earlier in the year. You don't always have a great idea of what they've done in the offseason and so forth. So now they're doing the same thing for us. So they got more knowledge, than they had earlier in the year. So when you play teams late, it's really preparation really takes over. Preparation so you can go out there and play with confidence and execute well. So that's part of what I really enjoy about playing in December. I feel like I can get a pretty good feel for the opponent.
You said a lot of things that I want to really cover. And if you're just tuning in, it's Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com every Monday and Friday. Monday doing post-game, Friday doing pregame to the game to Atlanta Falcons. So let's work it from back to front because he talked about the schedule. Talking about the way things are in the schedule, calling plays and things like that. That's true. I said you're not going to change is what I was saying before, and everybody was upset about play calling, was upset about a variety of things. It's this late in the season. There's 3 games left. They're not changing anything. All you can do is refine it, mix things up a little bit. But as far as just calling new things, that's not going to happen. And as Tom said, you have more information on people now than you do earlier in the year because you're not too familiar with some teams. You don't play all the time. Fortunately, the Buccaneers played the Lions last year, but they played their backup quarterback. But we're not sure what their status is with Matthew Stafford coming up next week when they see that. But we'll get into that when that time comes. Production and running backs. As he said, it doesn't matter if you can read between the lines. It doesn't matter who's in there. Just got to be, productive, what the flow is of the offense. And, hopefully you got the right guy in there with the specific plays that you have called and you guys can be successful. If you guys know me earlier in the year, I had Ben Jarvis Green Ellis on here. The law firm, as most of you might know, a guy, I talk to daily. He said something exactly what Ben Jarvis said. Unproductive play is an unproductive play, and that's how he thinks. Like when Ben Jarvis says, when you miss a block or things like that, you feel bad and you feel like you let the entire team down because essentially you did. One thing he said, you make everybody look bad when you do something wrong, and that's what I mean about execution and stuff. When people think stuff is just dumb, it looks dumb when somebody hasn't done their job because it's a domino effect. One X person can't do their job if one guy doesn't do theirs. That's why Belichick emphasizes, do your job. Just do your job. Focus on your job. Don't worry about what the other guy's got to do. If he screws up, we'll deal with that. And if you can't get the job done, you get the next guy in. I mean, it is football, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And Tom Brady's exactly right. Productive is productive. Trying to go back from back to front. He said earlier about starting games. Mental mistakes versus physical mistakes. You thought you could have got the ball out quicker and you didn't because you took a second to read stuff. And that's the stuff I'm talking about. It's not the plays, it's execution. It's making mental errors. Him throwing error throws earlier in the game, overthrowing Godwin over his head 5 yards, and he's wide open. Him and Antonio, there's like 3 guys open on a particular play, and the offensive line held up and gave him huge amount of time back there in the pocket. It should have been a completion for a first down, but yet they got off the field and they were only able to run 5 plays in the first quarter against the Minnesota Vikings. And it's been that way for a couple weeks now, going from the Kansas City Chiefs to the last week against the Vikings. And Buccaneers, they have to start fast. And I guess I go into it because we're talking about that. Might as well just bring it up here. Give me a second. Not that. What am I doing? 1 second, folks. I didn't load it on here. We'll talk about it. You have to start fast by converting third downs. And all that's part of the game. Because without converting those third downs, you don't get an opportunity to run extra plays. You don't get ability to run the ball like you want to and do all those things, because essentially if you're not converting those third downs, none of all that other stuff even makes a difference, because you can't move forward. Whether you like to see Ronald Jones get 20, 25 touches, all that is predicated on converting third downs and moving the ball. And it would be nice to see the Buccaneers come out and start early, whether they come down and get 3 or come down and get 7 points, put 7 points on the board. Or if they start defense and get a nice 3 and out, get the opposing offense off the field and get going. What's going on, Jonathan Lindsay, Ray Kennedy, Misador, Harry the Greek? What's going on, everybody that's here? Feel free, put your comments down in the box, and I'll get there. And I'll get to it. I also see Deshaun. I see you sitting up down there, brother. Let me get through the preliminaries first. And I always will jump into you because I know you got a lot to say coming up to this Atlanta game in your home state in Georgia. I see your notes too. You're trying to prep like me, man. You ain't slick. Anyway, so yes, converting third downs and getting things moving quickly and early in the game, is important, because it's been something that's been their Achilles heel for a little while now. It's not starting fast and looking kind of rusty in the game. I think I mentioned this to somebody. I can't remember where we were talking about it. It was maybe Tom Brady has to do something else to get his mental preparation and get going earlier in the game to get going, because it seems like the Buccaneers offense is flat coming out early. And I'm not particularly sure why. I'm not sure why at all. It comes out so flat so early. So maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe this people got to get bodies on bodies and get the blood flowing a little bit. Maybe they need to change the music that they're listening to. They have to get things going a little bit earlier in the game. And I think it'll put Buccaneers fans at ease, because they tend to get down on the team early when they don't start off fast, and the fans go into their slippery slope and negativity when the team doesn't start straight. And I think it feeds into them struggling on offense, because, they can feel the energy from people and the fans and things like that. Misador needs to limit down the down and distance by 3.5 on first and second down to make third downs manageable. That's absolutely correct. They've been in manageable third downs as well. Misador's just, you're not converting them. You had 3rd and 3, you overthrew to Rob Gronkowski. The one week he was open, he just didn't connect the ball with the wide receiver or tight end in that, rather. Scotty Miller had a underneath route on a 3rd down earlier in the first quarter. I can't remember if it was that last week or the week before, but it was a third and short that wasn't converged. Defense jumped on it, and it's just though they've been in those situations, it's just not converting them. And that's pretty much the point I'm getting at with that. And they're not converting their third downs, whatever down and distance it is. They're just not converting them earlier in the games or in key situations. Sometimes, like if they just convert the third downs, that offense will get in rhythm. Everybody will get involved. You actually might see more than 3 receptions from Mike Evans. Of course, you always see him in the red zone between him and Rob Gronkowski. But it's good it will be nice to see that offense getting fluid and getting that continuity early in the game, putting bodies on everybody and getting going. And speaking of that, we'll talk about the injury report a little bit here. I'll talk about what I had. This is what I had yesterday versus, of course, just the Buccaneers. Like literally when I came live, the new injury report came out. Jamil Dean, of course, he was out with a groin injury last week. He's back this week at full participation. Steve McClendon's been dealing with an elbow injury. He did not participate yesterday, but he is participating today. Donovan Smith had an ankle and was limited participation. Per Bucks Report, if you go to bucksreport.com, we have an article out that Donovan Smith will miss his first career game this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. So we'll see who steps in and plays there. It doesn't look like Joe Hague. He looked like he's dealing with an illness. No, everybody should be back, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. Atlanta Falcons are dealing with a lot of injuries. Ricardo Allen has a concussion protocol. Marlon Davis, a guy I adore coming out of Auburn that Atlanta drafted, did not participate. Darquise Dennard, former Bengals first-round pick corner, Quadriceps is out. Julio Jones, of course, is dealing with injuries again. So with that being said, let me go into what I was just saying. The Buccaneers injury report as per Friday. Jamil Dean groin is full participation, should be a go. Inside linebacker Levante David, not injury related, was out, full participation. Rob Gronkowski, full participation. Joe Haig is back. McClendon is full participation. Jason Pierre-Paul did not participate. Looks like he'll play. He takes veteran days. Ndamukong Suh did not participate, which I think is the same thing as just veteran days off. Falcons, here we go. Ricardo Allen, concussion, did not participate, out. Marlon Davis, as I said, is out. Darqueze Dennard is out. Julio Jones is ruled out, so that fits into my game plan and everything that I had that I need to put up here and show you what I had. Caleb McCary did not participate, which is going to be interesting. McGarry is the right tackle, and that's another hurt to their offensive line. If he is out, that's going to change the game plan, and it looks like Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul is going to look like they get their bib out and fork and knife because it looks like they're going to be prepared to eat. Todd Gurley is not injury related, but he did not participate, and everybody else from there participated, so I really won't go into the whole thing with the rest of them. But Julio Jones is out as key, which is huge, which I anticipated Carlton Davis playing much like he did last year, along with Hopkins that he played last year with the Texans, and he did fairly well stopping both of them, holding them to really minuscule gains for that matter. Isidore gets some rant playing in the locker room. I agree, Blake. Eric, just type in the comment section. Let me see. So what I really can't believe I did not put that up here, but it's all right. I'll get it on here the next time we roll through something. Let's get into the winning angle and see what we got, and we'll talk about all that with that. And I'll try to pull that my little chalkboard up. Here we go. Keys to victory: start fast, convert third downs, win turnover battle, must have a back or total of 100 yards rushing. Defense: limit big plays, collapse pocket, must sack Matt Ryan. Key players: Levante David, Anton Winfield, Matt Ryan, and Russell Gage. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of The Winning Angle with your host from Sports Talk 49, Blake Anthony. Today, we're going to talk about the Buccaneers' upcoming matchup, some key things to look at, and what they should do to win. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I always flash back to the past because the past sets up for the present. And what I mean by that is, as I said the week before the Vikings, they'll take advantage of aggressive linebackers. Matt Ryan lives off it. Here's an example of why aggressive linebackers are good and bad. They're great to stuff the run, but they give up passing lanes when they're too aggressive when the quarterback pulls out the pass. Here it is, Matt Ryan sends Hayden Hurst in motion and gives a zone read handoff fake and pulls back and throws a slant route to Justin Gage. So I like to call that the looky pass. You look and get the defenders upfield, and then you throw it right in the passing lane. And Gage Jr. has been an all-star in the absence of Julio Jones. If Julio Jones is a no-go or is partially injured in the game, look for the Falcons to try to get a spark early by going to their gadget man. Gadget Gage Jr., as I mentioned earlier, has been their plug-in guy since Julio's absence with the addition of Calvin Ridley. As you can see here, Falcons line up Gage in a wildcat formation. Chargers anticipate a run. Chargers don't know that Gage has the arm he has. Throws a ball with great velocity, speed, and accuracy. You're going to see this twins formation a lot, and they like to go vertical when they get this twins on one side. Falcons had ran this play earlier on the Chargers, running to the sideline and getting a big gain. This time, they decided to fake outside and come back inside, but Matt Ryan Did not anticipate the safety being there and threw a costly interception in the game right to the safety. Safety was playing center field and made it a great catch. Here's another look at it from another angle. Tight end comes upfield to distract the safety. Safety does not buy it, sits there and waits on the interception. Matt Ryan felt hurried on this play. You want to know how I know? It's because his feet was moving like the Million Man March. Stares down the quarterback, doesn't deliver a fastball. Jalil Ajay is able to undercut the ball and get an interception. Now I know what Matt Ryan's thinking here. And Levante David and Devin White need to be paying attention. See, when they motion, they like going there. See, he sees the outside leverage of the defender on the outside and sees the safety on the inside. Immediately thinks he can get this ball in here to Hayden Hurst without the defender getting there first. Matt Ryan's late. Ball isn't thrown with a zip. He's hurried. Had he waited a couple more seconds, he had another guy wide open behind it. As I told you before, watch the motion, man. He might take you to the ball. Matt Ryan sees another leverage point here and tries to get the ball in. Defender's aggressive, understands what he can get beat on and what he can't get beat on, jumps the route and makes a great interception. Immediately, I can see what Matt Ryan sees. He sees the leverage. The receiver should have the advantage if he makes a great cut and cut off the defender. And as a receiver, it's your job to get between the ball and the defender. Wide receiver bananas the route. Defender leaves the alley for the defender to jump underneath for an easy interception. Should have been a pick six. We'll take a look at it from another angle here. Give me 1 second. All right, same deal here from another view. Motion man. Calvin Ridley, let's speed it up. Comes in motion. Matt Ryan thinks he has leverage. And now you see the importance of running crisp routes, making the throws easy for your quarterback. Ball is behind. Ball needs to be all the way to the sideline. Defender makes an easy interception. Should have been a touchdown. Thanks for watching and enjoy the game. There it is, the winning angle. And I got the keys to victory up. Because I did show it there, but I have it now. All right, so that's what I had. Start fast on offense, convert third downs, win the turnover battle. Must have 100 yards of rushing. Yes, I put that up there. Must have 100 yards of rushing. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter. Just the total of 100 yards rushing should happen. Defense, limit big plays. Atlanta Falcons get a lot of chunk yardage. They love those mid-range passes. They love getting those linebackers out of place and throwing right behind them. He loves that spot. And he loves the passes to the sideline. I didn't show that route, but I showed them counter to that route. They like when you're in a man trail with a safety over top, he likes to throw in that blind spot right there in front of the safety, near the sideline, right near that left hash mark. He likes to throw that over there, and then they'll counter that by faking that and then going upfield, which you saw the interception. Chargers were ready for it on that play when they had single high safety. Collapse pocket and must sack Matt Ryan. I think the Buccaneers know all too well what happens to you if you leave Matt Ryan back there standing like a statue. So the players I think will shine today will be Antoine Winfield and, of course, Levante David. And then the Atlanta Stars should be Matt Ryan and Russell Gage. Russell Gage has been their guy since Julio Jones has not been 100%. And they will rely on him. They will go to him a lot, and they will find ways to get the game going early. And as I said, with the Wildcat, I expect with Julio Jones out now, I expect them to do some type of trick stuff, something to get the offense going early, something to get some type of motivation going for that offense, because right now they're plagued with injuries. Their secondary is diminished. There's no reason that the Buccaneers shouldn't have any problem moving the ball in the air this game. Their pass rush doesn't scare me. They have Dante Fowler Jr., a former first-round pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has been underwhelming, we'll say at least. And that's pretty much it with their edge rushers. I was trying to think, Grady Jarrett, Grady Jarrett, a Pro Bowl player, a later round pick in the draft out of Clemson. Grady Jarrett is played well above where he was drafted at, and has been a Pro Bowl player for quite some time. So I'm not concerned. Alex Kappa's been playing very well this season. Ryan Jensen's been playing very well. And I don't even have to mention Ali Marpet. So with those guys in there, should handle it as long as communication along the offensive line is great. I don't think they'll have an issue. Yeah, we got to pretty much all that. And we'll run the Madden 21 prediction. We'll get Deshaun on. We'll just talk about all that at one time. As Deshaun brings great points all the time, so it's fun listening to him and bringing his point of view. And he'll also have some information for you guys on Deshaun, what he got going on. I don't know if that's up to him to say. He might want to surprise you. Yeah, but let me go to the Madden 21 prediction. I particularly don't like this one. I'm going to be honest. And I try to stay biased. I think Madden really has something against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have no idea. I think EA really does. And I took out Ronald Jones and I took out Todd Gurley because not knowing if they're going to miss the game or not Todd Gurley, but Julio Jones. Not sure if Ronald Jones is going to miss the game. I took him out anyway, so you'll see here. But I really think EA's got something against them. Check it out.
Today, from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the National Football League. We'll see Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons taking on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
On 3rd and goal, Ryan. And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. From 8 yards out. And the Falcons take it all the way down the field and score on the opening drive. Ryan hit, and he lost the football.
Much like a running back going through the line, quarterbacks have to be aware of protecting the football as well. He left it exposed.
This will be a 37-yard attempt. And his kick is good. And a lead. You shake things up.
You look at what you called before, realize it hasn't worked.
Go to something else.
And maybe
trying for Brown, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Darquez Denard. Well, look, we're watching a quarterback here that's obviously been around for a long time. That's a throw he wishes he had back.
He certainly does, but as you well know, this is a guy that's used to taking a few chances, used to fitting it into tight windows. These are throws that he's made before. Didn't happen to get it completed in this.
Now it's Ryan. And this is caught for a Falcon touchdown. It's Calvin Ridley on the receiving end from Matt Ryan. And the Falcons push further out in front on those from 53 yards out. And the 11-year veteran bangs it through from the left hash. A chip shot here. And this one is right through. 6 thus far. This will be 3rd and a mile. Operating from the gun. Brady into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 22. And this drive will start on the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line. This spot in the 4th quarter with that deficit had to throw the football. Unfortunately, there's the risk of big turnover.
And you know you're going to be throwing against nickel, dime, all sorts of exotic defenses. But you have to, do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Falcons use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6.
I know the play ends up in the end zone with one person carrying it.
From the gun, Brady. And Brady going to be intercepted third time. Isaiah Oliver with the INT. Well, that's 3 picks he's now thrown in this game.
And I know this, the holiday season, because here we are in December.
Giving.
Right, it is the season of giving. Maybe for his own sake, after the game, he may have to announce that he's donating certain amounts to...
So time runs out. It's a victory for the Atlanta Falcons. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the second half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the second quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a second half. The adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the second half, and no point.
And we're back. Madden obviously thinks the Atlanta Falcons are going to blow out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 27-3 and have 3 interceptions on Tom Brady. Interesting. And with that being said, we're going to go to a quick break, come back with Deshaun, and hear what he's got to say about everything I've presented so far. So sit back, refill your drink, and we'll be right back after these short messages.
with a slow motion crew, and we up in our growlings when people change.
And we're back with none other than Deshaun Tisdale right here on Sports Talk 49. What's going on, Deshaun?
Hey, what's up, guys? How we doing today?
Good. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, pretty good. Hey, Blake, couple of things. I was watching what you were posting there, keys to the games, and then also where Matt Ryan likes to go. And first and foremost, the key thing that stuck out to me with what you were saying was where Matt likes to go with the ball. I know from watching his games, from just, any type of competition that we see. And then unfortunately, since there are the home team where I currently reside, I get to see all their games firsthand, and I get to hear how great they are and see all their highlights. And I'm like, dude, this dude throws to the left hash all the time. He's always looking to get a safety too far off, too far up, corner playing outside position, and he's going to take that in cut because the receiver a lot of times is fly, or even when he has his wide out, they'll line up in a comfortable position to that hash to throw to his favorite spot. But I'm going to even take that one step further because I know that there's 3 spaces that he likes to go to. So he loves to go to the hash. Then he also loves to go deep right in cuts. So whenever he has a receiver, maybe his X receiver is going to be far right position, he's going to have him do very deep in breaking routes, not necessarily post, more of deep in routes, NFL throw. And he's going to make those throws just before that receiver gets to the half. If you remember, just think of Roddy White's throws. This offense is not much different from them. In fact, a lot of the cuts that you saw Roddy White, if you look at some of his highlights, especially the past years, he's making deep in cutting catches, and then he would just fall to the floor because later in his career he didn't have any yak. The next part that Matt Ryan loves to go to is going to be the flats. So he knows where his offensive line is at. That's not, he knows where they're at. He's going to get that ball out quick. He's going to play the fact that your safety is going to be off. Corners are in man coverage if you're blitzing. And he's going to challenge the fact that your linebackers can get outside. And that, to me, is going to be our key to the game this week. It's going to be our 4 linebackers in this 3-4 defense. And I mean all 4 linebackers. So our outside linebackers with JPP and Shaq Barrett this week, they're going to have to bring it. And they're going to have to bring it to the extent of you cannot allow Matt Ryan to massage that pocket, move around in there. He's not going to be super fleet of foot, but he can move around in the pocket. He's mobile enough, but we definitely have to bring it this week with those outside linebackers for our 3-4. But bigger than that, Lavonte David and Devin White are going to be huge this week because those running backs and receivers that they like to throw to in the flats, that's going to be all Lavonte David and Devin White and how they position to it. Because if they have leverage, if they can, an offense has a leverage when they break those running backs out or anybody that's shallow in, they break them to the out in the flat, they have leverage over those linebackers. We have speed to combat that leverage, but we definitely need to get in good position and we need to tackle well this week. So I think defensively, all 4 linebackers defensively this week are going to be major for us. Of course, we can't have any mishaps on the top with our safeties either, but I think that's going to be the keys to the front. Everybody else continue doing what they're doing.
I agree. Yeah, and best being in that state, you watch a lot of their games and you see the tendencies of players. That's why I always say when people try to figure out why some players are better than others, it's taking the time to understand your opponent's tendencies and being mentally prepared coming into a game. And so I picked Lavonte David as somebody who's played against him numerous times in that division over the course of his career. And Matt Ryan is going to rely a lot on his wide receivers. He doesn't have the jump ball ability with Julio Jones being out, like those sideline routes. He could just air up for Julio Jones to get to you. That won't necessarily be available to him this Sunday. So he's going to have to rely on those shallow crosses or deep square in routes and things like that. And he likes those mid-range passes. He likes to get those guys out of the place and throw those there. That's just where his comfort zone is. He's not really a deep bomb thrower unless it's, to Julio Jones per se or a wide open guy. He likes mid-range throws, and he's going to try to get those chunk yardage. So Tampa Bay, with the Falcons' lack of offensive line and the Buccaneers' defensive line pretty much coming on pretty hot this week, last week, they should help out the secondary a lot. You should see at least defensive back or a linebacker get an interception this week, in my opinion.
Listen, I'm looking forward to it, but I think what's going to be really hard for those linebackers to get picks, and I'll tell you why. It's more likely for an outside linebacker to get a pick against Matt Ryan, in my opinion, just because I don't see him going to Hooper all that much. Although he will go to him, I don't see him going to him
Hooper's
all
gone.
that much. What's that?
Hooper's gone. It's Hayden Hurst now.
Hayden Hurst. I'm sorry, Hayden Hurst. Yeah,
it's all good.
I was thinking of him, but now I'm thinking of
he's been there for so long.
Congratulating the guys. Yeah.
But
Hayden Hurst, you'll see him go to Hayden, but he goes to Hayden like a He doesn't go to Hayden like you would go to a Gonzalez or something like that. He goes to him in a we watched the safety, we've got the snapshot, so we're going to go to him now that we've watched the snapshot and we know you're just kind of leaving him errand. But I would say I'm looking for those linebackers to have a hard time, because a lot of times I'll watch them run wheel routes and then come back on the sideline and kind of sit down and give him an outlet, because he knows he's got that clock in his head. Listen, if people think the quarterback clock in their head is not serious, you saw it last week with Tom Brady, our own Tom Brady. Once his clock got sped up in his head, it does not matter what he's seeing with his eyes, because his mind is telling them, Aaron, get it out fast, and get it out fast sometimes equals Aaron throws, i.e. what happened to Chris Godwin like twice when he misses them. No one says, oh, that's Tom. It's just, you know what, really it was his clock was sped up because that defense was pressuring him, or he's getting hit after the play, and that tells the quarterback, I need to get the ball out. Well, Matt Ryan already has that from weeks of getting hit. If the sacks don't add up, the hits do, and he's getting a ton of both at this point, well, much more than he has been. And, you take a Julio down in the same way as when Mike Evans is out for us. You don't get respected the same way. Maybe a corner doesn't travel from side to side with you, or, things of that nature. And I mean, I think right now we're looking at a team that we need to come out and beat. Just the bottom line. Tampa needs to come out, manhandle its team, and just, take control of this game. Offensively, I'm not with the Madden prediction. I tried it several ways as well. And I put, I've taken players out, put players in, and I'm like, wait, why is it still? I'm kind of sad. I think EA just has something for Tampa. I think we'd have to win a Super Bowl right now because they put our numbers up, but then, our numbers doesn't match. But I'll take another team that has very similar numbers or even numbers, and they'll do great. So, who knows? But let me ask you this. Where do you think offensively we're at right now? Because when I saw that Donovan Smith, I believe I saw Donovan Smith is just not going to play due to the COVID. Mm-hmm. So when that is happening, and we've spoken about this before, as much as we complain about Donovan Smith, we don't want him out. We don't want his backup because, we're really not, that's really just goes to say we're not confident in our GM to supply depth we haven't had depth in the offensive line for years. And this year, I think, it's rearing its head, constantly. But I do think this, hopefully, offensively, we can do this. I saw Tom Brady's interview and about tendencies and things of that nature. And I was thinking to myself as he's talking, I was watching it live. I thought this, Blake, and you let me know what your opinion on it. I thought if you don't have your tackle in, what do you do to get either rookies or backups that come in off the bench? What do you do to get them comfortable in the game? And my first answer was you need to run the ball. Mm-hmm. You don't put them out on an island and tell them go block for me to go deep. You put them and you let them go. You run the ball, and you sometimes you run directly where they're at so they can get going. They can get in the game. I mean, do you foresee that as a start off? And I know traditionally we start off at first down with an inside run. I say it all the time, but we don't have Rojo this week. Not that I don't think Leonard Fournette is going to be bad. I really think Leonard Fournette is, Pete always says victim of value. I think any running back that's in a running back by committee system is a victim of value because each one of these guys are great in their own right. They just need the ball. Maybe they need several carries before they get going. And when they were the lead back, they would always get those carries to get going. And that could be said for anybody. So what do you think with just kind of, we're putting the backup out here, just running the ball with, running the ball at his side, if you will, to see, just to get him kind of going. What do you think?
Well, you explained LaShawn McCoy's words to a T when I did his perspective. He said it's funny to him that people get surprised when he makes a play. He said, I know I can still make plays. He's like, my number's just not called. But when I get, call you come in and make a play, I mean, he spoke that to the letter. Just got to get things going a little bit. You just can't expect people to just jump right in and just make a big play. It's like you got to warm up the car before you get it going. You got to get the oil running. But as far as left tackle, I think Josh Wells, I think they'll communicate. It's all about communication on the offensive line. Let him know how he's handling whoever's over him. Is probably going to be Stephen Means, a former Buccaneer draft pick out of Buffalo, still hanging around in the league, or Dante Fowler Jr., probably a mixture of those two. Those guys, Josh Wells should be able to handle. If not, you can bring a tight end over to Chip, get things going to see where Wells is at. But I believe you're spot on with helping him. You can't leave him in compromising situations. And what I mean by that is getting yourself in known passing downs, play after play, leaving him out on a limb out there. Because when it's a lot easier for a defensive lineman to know that you're passing every play, that way he doesn't have to worry about if you're running. So he knows he's already predetermined what he's going to do to try to get to the quarterback that play. And anyways, Brady doesn't need to be throwing that many times. Anyway, he needs to throw about 25 to 30 times and need to run the ball. That's why I had Buccaneers need to have at least 100 yards of rushing to get out of this game.
Well, see, I'm in line with you right now. I'm in lockstep with that for the fact of, listen, if any game we're going to be without Donovan Smith, this is a game that I would say, hey, you know what? We're not going against a formidable front. I mean, the anchor of that front is Grady Jarrett. And Grady Jarrett is literally from right here in Georgia. He's a homegrown talent from Conyers, Georgia. My son's been to a couple of his camps. I stood next to him, and guess what? I'm dwarfing him. He's not a big guy at all. He's not phenomenally big. He's a quick twitch, undersized defensive tackle, at the end of the day. And I think from an interior standpoint, I don't see any issues. You're talking about Jensen, Kappa, and Marpet. That's where he's going to live. And, that doesn't say he won't get anything. But right now, with the continuity that those guys have had and they've played together long enough at this point in the season, I think from an interior base, we should be fine. Pass rush in general, that doesn't mean – I think that what they'll do is we've got LSU talent here at linebacker, and we've had LSU talent at linebacker for a long time. And this is a copycat league, and the NFC South has done nothing but go get LSU talent at linebacker. So right now they have Jones, and listen, Jones is he's a Devin White, Quan Alexander, type of player. He's fast, he's quick twitch, he's an emotional. I would say, I see that KZ is out for them. Between Jones and Keanu Neal. For the Falcons, I would say that those are probably their heart and soul of their defense. One in the defensive front, one in the secondary, or without KZ being there, who's another hard hitter that comes down when he's in the game. So I can see that we got to just see how we're going to defend him if they're blitzing him, which Tom Brady should see, quickly. But it's not about Tom seeing it. If we haven't noticed, I don't know if everyone's, noticed that. It's not about Tom seeing the blitz coming. He's seeing the blitz coming perfectly fine. It is the association between our receivers seeing the same said blitz, Tom calling it, and then them making the adjustments to their routes to compensate the blitz that they're seeing. That's what's going to help us in the playoffs. And I said playoffs. That's what's going to help us in the playoffs. So when we get to the playoffs, it's going to be our ability. And guess what, guys? I'm fine with where we're at. But I think that if it's a time to start coming on, to start stringing wins together and start winning by any means necessary. BA said it the other day, so I guess maybe that can calm all the pundits down about our identity. He said our identity is whatever we want our identity to be. And I mean, when you really look at our team, he said, well, I got all types of running backs. I could run at you if I want to. Got all types of receivers. We can go pass all day if we want to. I mean, really, do we have to have a set identity? Or can we just come out and win?
Yeah, me and Rick Hughes talked about that. I mean, simplicity is easier on people because you know what to expect. And I used the Pittsburgh Steelers for so long with their identity has always been a ground and pound team. And then go vertical to your wide receivers, which they've turned into now a premier passing team and kind of gone away with the run. And it's kind of biting them in the rear end coming in here December where you want to rely on running the ball in this cold weather. With that being said, that's why I told him it's a double-edged sword. You don't know what the intangibles in football are. Whether there could be implications in a game. Could depict if your receivers aren't catching the ball, their hands are cold. You might need to give it to the back that game and help the offensive line and things like that. Or your quarterback might not be hot, or your backfield may not be doing too well. You got to make adjustments. And I think BA is saying that the Buccaneers do have the talent to figure out ways to win depending on whatever situation happens in the game, whatever flow of the game happens. And that's pretty much it. They always say that, especially in that offense, it's about choice routes. And then you said it best. Brady threw an interception off a defender's helmet because Mike Evans had the hot route on that, and he's supposed to sit, and he kept going, and Brady didn't have an outlet to throw to. And that's that's a lot, and that's a key part in this offense. Is a lot of wide receivers have a lot of choice routes, and both the wide receiver and the quarterback have to see the same thing. If not,
they have to. Yeah, you're right. 100%. They got to see the same thing. And listen, we can't make exceptions or excuses for any one of these professional athletes, professional football players, when they make the wrong decision. Because best believe it's not practice time only. When they get that iPad, it has everything. It has their full route tree. If you haven't seen it, you don't have any friends or whatever, I can't tell on somebody by telling that I've looked at their iPad, but I can just say you can touch their route and see what they should do with all the options that pop up, as in what they would see. So there's not a I didn't know what to do here. They have like tests, or pretty much little tests on their iPad of what they should do with this situation coming by their position grouping. So that lets me know for sure that guess what? This is not about whether or not they saw what Tom saw. It was, here's what we're both seeing. Can you not see it with your eyes? You know, like if our eyes are open, we both see the same thing, then we should have been going to option one, option B of option one, because this is what we saw, and then if he was lined up inside, then we should be going to option C because this is what we're both seeing. Now, when that doesn't happen, then you can say, we're not talking about sandlot football that Tom's been playing with this guy for 3 years and he gives him a head rub and that means, a deep corner. This is the pros, man. He's got a whole sheet. So even if they don't have the practice time, this is why we have veteran days, because the veteran doesn't need to be in there. He knows the playbook. You've been in this playbook. And like you said, the first thing you said at the beginning of the show was, listen, we've been in it for a while now. No one's doing anything different at this point. Tendencies are exactly that. They're tendencies because you go to them. Listen, we can do this. We can beat this Falcons team, but make no mistake about it. They can be glitchy. They can step up and, score a bunch of points on you, or they can look horrible. Of late, last game, you look at Matt Ryan throwing that pick to kind of seal the game in the fourth quarter. I'm going to tell you right now, no one's walking around Atlanta like they usually do. I usually see boatloads of flags. I mean, I fly my flag when I'm in my car, my truck, and, I got my shirts on in the supermarket. Nobody's talking any kind of crap to me right now, and I don't want them to be talking crap to me on Monday. So I need the Buccaneers to come in and do what they got to do this week, and I'm planning on them doing that. I'm planning on them doing that because I'll tell you, if you haven't checked into this guy, I'm not sure what his nationality is, the Asian kicker from the Falcons. He's probably got the most swag on that team. Now, I'm not disrespecting the other guys. This guy is swaggy as hell, bro. I've seen him.
It's a chicken and waffles. It's Roscoe.
Oh, he's off the chain, man. I'm off the chain, man, for real. Yeah, he's got it, man. He's got it. But you know what? I'm hoping that they're relying on him to make all their points because they can't get 6. They got to take 3.
Absolutely, because I think who's leading kickers in points right now this season, if I'm not mistaken. He got an accolade, I think, for the first Asian born player or Asian something like I can't remember.
I think you might have saw that the college one with that running back, the first Asian born running back in college. That's what you saw because he said the same verbiage, and I know because I watched that video.
Yeah,
but Younghoe Koo is definitely, dude. He's definitely a phenomenal kicker right now, and I'm happy to see him kick instead of score. So if they do get close enough and we're playing field position, let them get 3. Don't let them get 6. I think our defense is going to stand up this weekend, and that's what I'm looking to see because we need to continue down the road and get this. We got to see this team again. So we need to kind of punch them in the mouth and let them know that Big Brother's here, at least for this season. And this is the way the NFC South is. So we know it. You've seen a team back-to-back. It'll be much harder to beat them the second time because there's no new week of prep. It's just going to be a rehash, so we'll see. Hopefully no injuries happen in this game, and we're good to go. Where do you think we reside on a special teams? Can we get anything out of our special teams from a plus side? We've had it once this season. Can we get anything?
Are you talking about like a big return or something like that?
Maybe a big return. We got that block. So a big return, a block, anything that's going to be to the plus. I haven't seen anything. I really haven't seen Bonner get to return. So I'm not sure, do we even feel like that's anything, or is that going to be a moot point for the entire season?
It feels like it's been a moot point for at least 10 seasons. So after Clifton Smith left this team, last Pro Bowler kick returner the Buccaneers have had, they had Michael Spurlock for a little bit of time, who made some kick returns against Atlanta, shockingly. That's just it hasn't been a point of emphasis for quite some time. I know they had Adam Humphries return that 100-yard I think missed field goal return or something, return in the preseason game, but return game has not been something that's been a strong point for Tampa Bay Buccaneers in quite some time. And it needs to be at some point because it helps out. It helps your offense and things like that.
You need all aspects. You need all aspects of it. I mean, I know we need all three facets of the game when we get to this time. And listen, I'm gonna stay solid with you again, where we need this 100 yards on the ground. I don't care if Rojo's not in the game. We need 100 yards on the ground because
whatever it is,
you have to have 100 yards. We have to stay in the 100 yards. To me, keeps us better than the sticks. Later, the last game, I felt like some of those yards came towards the latter part of the game, and it was more of a stat stuffer. But listen, you got to have games where you're right at that 100-yard mark or better, especially with a team that you need to keep off the field. Over the last couple of weeks, to be honest with you, time possession, we didn't win time possession last game, even though we won that game. Our defense is out there. And I think I saw in the 4-letter, they said, hey, I think they were talking about Tampa, and I kind of agreed with them. Listen, if we're going to make it, it's not all the shiny weapons that we have that are offensively that are going to take us there. Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. And I just feel like right now, this defense will be what wins the championships. Tom Brady is great, but last couple of times he's not been winning with us with offenses. His defense has been solid, and they go out and they score. So defense pitches a 3 and out, offense goes out. They either win the field position game, so there's a win on that side, or they go down and they put up points on the board. And eventually that turns into the other team's offense beginning to be one-dimensional. And guess what? This game, we got somebody working on our side in Atlanta. His name is Derek Cutter, because he's not going to be running the ball. So he's definitely on the side of Tampa.
Definitely, Dirk Cutter is going to be one-sided. Definitely, that's why I don't know why he brought in Todd Gurley. He had no intentions of running the ball with him. Granted, Gurley hasn't been the same since Rams lost the Super Bowl to the New England Patriots a couple of years ago, and his career's kind of fallen off from there. But Dirk Cutter is not a guy who likes to run the ball, so you're pretty much going to get Bassett, like you said earlier, backs flaring out the backfield. You're going to see a lot of action from the tight end. You're going to see a lot of vertical passing, which is going to open up a lot of opportunities for sacks for Shaq Barrett and JPP.
Well, see, that's one of the things. That's why I was like, this week, I don't think Khalil Davis was injured, and I felt like we needed more of a quick twitch, 3 technique in there, which Khalil Davis shows that he has the ability to do that. I'm like, dude, you saw how quick he can get in there. We're talking about the difference of 2 to 3 steps into the backfield, which can change the dynamics on any given play. You're going to watch the Falcons come out this week, and when they do run motion, they're running motion to the side generally, and most times that they're going to go to, but it's not necessarily a run like most teams. They're going to run. When we run the motion with Godwin, he motions to this side, we're probably going to run it back to that side in most cases, especially if you see him block and run it over there, obviously. But with Matt Ryan, when they motion to a side, you're generally going to see them pass to that side. It's almost like they do a lot of flood a lot of flood type plays where they'll flood a zone and they force the defender in the zone to pick. So here's what, for anybody in the chat, if you're not knowing, Blake, of course, I know you know, but you see somebody flood a zone, immediately the quarterback knows if he has man by who's moving. Mm-hmm. And once he knows that somebody is in man, he knows immediately that either my tight end or my running back is going to be running free, because if you're in man or zone, you have to match up a certain way. So if you're in man, guess what? I know the safety's on the tight end. I know that corner has my receiver. The linebacker is pre-snap beat and he has my back. I'm going to my back immediately. And then to win. If it doesn't happen or happens the other way, you know what? Tampa has situations where what happens with our corners? We sit on routes because we're looking in the backfield. Mm-hmm. Double moves beat us. Same way it can happen in Atlanta. It could happen if we go to sit on a route like we do and we feel comfortable at times. In cut move and vertical. Don't worry. I watched Atlanta Falcons do it this season. Use some of those Gage highlights that you see, some of those Ridley highlights that you see, all those same in cut double moves, and then get vertical. Don't think they won't do it against us. They're going to take any shot they can. Here in Atlanta, they're not talking about on TV their draft picks just yet. They're not talking about who they're going to pick up to make this offense better. They may be talking about head coaching, but they're not talking about who they're going to draft just yet. And guess what? I don't think when you come to division games that they're looking to lose these games, because they're division games.
Well, you got interim head coach Raheem Morris and Dirk Cutter. Think these guys don't want to win this game. Both former coaches of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Raheem Morris probably trying to put another staple on his second run at being another head coach after learning, about things he shouldn't do as a head coach from him being here in Tampa Bay in his younger days. Yep. He's a young man, so he'll admit. You said he couldn't tell him nothing. You didn't tell him nothing, and he made some costly mistakes and kind of lost the focus of his team, and then ended up losing his job. Luckily, he was able to stay in the league and work his way back up to a head coaching position. So I'm looking forward, to him to get another job somewhere. I just hope it's not in the division.
There you go. Well, I mean, we'll see what the offense and defense does against us this week. Right now, big players this week. What do you have on the score, and what do you have for big players this week? Could this be a game that we could miraculously see? And it's not something that I'm hoping for or wishing for, but could we miraculously see Mike Evans get a plus 100-yard game?
I was thinking about mentioning it, but I would kind of let it happen. As the secondary is definitely beat up, the opportunity here. The opportunity is going to be there.
Opportunity's there.
I don't think.
Hey, I'll tell you even this. Have you not seen Mike? There's a bit of edge with Mike right now. It's that he's taking every opportunity. You guys let us know in the chat, but I see that Mike seems to be taking every single opportunity. It looks like that he's fighting at the end of runs. Mm-hmm. I know you see it. Everyone's a fan. I've seen him turn around and kind of just sit down. Now, you may have some of those in the game, but I see more times in the game of late that he's trying to catch and go. And I'm like, not Mike Evans. He's not Mike, not possession Mike.
Yeah, he's not known for yak yarders. That's more of a Chris Godwin area.
But he's starting to push for it, which he should.
He's trying to get to $1,000, but he doesn't really care. He's going to try to get as many yards as he can, and he gets to play Atlanta twice. And the secondaries, you got the young rookie in AJ Terrell. I mean, has been average
now,
this season.
I'm expecting him to get smoked in this game. Mm-hmm. Listen, I've watched him against. He's fair to decent against median talent, midway talent, but top tier. We have so many different types of top tier receivers here. I think that we could take our chances with him with different receivers doing different things. Even I look at Tampa and I just wonder, one-on-ones in our own practice should be phenomenal for DBs to cover all these different receivers. You got the big body receiver in Mike Evans. You got a crafty Chris Godwin, he's not AB, but he's a different beast. He's more a route technician, if you will. Then you have AB, which is great and shifty on routes, but and has speed to take you deep. Then you got Scotty Miller. That's, he's make a wrong move inside, he's going to take the top off you. There's so many different things, and you're not even talking about if they ever have to get on tight ends. You got Tyler Johnson here. I just would love to see this team just really be able to air it out greatly. But I do also understand that, guess what? If we get into a situation, I'm not going to be a mad fan or a crazy fan because I'm not betting on the numbers. I want to get in a situation where we take the lead and we can then begin to murder that clock and run it all out, just pound all that clock out and just kind of walk off the field with a win. Because make no mistake about it, we would much rather pound running backs, which we have a surplus, than have any risk of Tom Brady getting hit.
Yep, and that's why I said 100 yards of rushing, because I'm more thinking you get a decent lead coming into the fourth quarter and coming into the mid fourth quarter, and then you just run the ball out, just pound it out, run the clock out, and just play solid defense. That's the ideal way I think they're going to end this game, but anything could happen in this game. Anything could happen. So, but that's the way I feel. You come into the later quarters, relying on the run, imposing your will, and then just ending it out like that.
What you got on the score? What you got on the score in this game?
This game, I believe they'll put up about 30 points. I believe it'll be like 30-14.
I got 34-10.
Yeah,
I got about 34-10. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I haven't put the Bucs at 30 points in quite some time because I knew their offense hasn't been clicking. This should be a week. Everybody should be back. Everybody's healthy according to the injury report. Granted, Ronald Jones and the COVID situation. I think he'll play. Period. Even with the pinky, he doesn't necessarily have. Well, he hasn't been great catching passes anyway. But carrying the ball, he should be fine. Wrap it up.
Well, that's a question. Do you have any concerns with him now? With Chris Godwin, with him getting the pins, he was out a week, and then we brought him back after a week. And then he was, light duties, and then he had the game. That's pretty much, so he had a little over 2 week window, to work with that. And he's the receiver. So not every time he's in is he getting touched or he has to use his hands. Rojo can get tackled. He can get hit directly on the pinky. The ball's going to hit the pinky. We don't know how much, what is his pain threshold. Obviously he gets hit all the time, but extremities are a lot different than, your mid-body getting hit. The first thing that gets cold is your hands and your feet. Extremities are, going to be different pain level. And then it also comes down to, my question is, comes down to whether, the upper echelon, BA and everyone thinks that, hey, you know what, we got enough for this game. We could run on this team without you even risking it, so we can save you for the playoffs. Because we're a team right now that we're set for the playoffs. Would we rather risk him or give him a week to heal? So essentially he'd have 2 weeks before the next game because he's got all this time, and then he'd have all of the week resting for next week, then risk him. And we're talking about a front that's not super formidable.
No, I agree with you. I think they should rest him. There's no rush. I know everybody wants to see Rojo rush for $1,000. If he doesn't play, they have 2 more weeks to get just over 100 yards of rushing. I'm not sure what happened to Deshaun. Technology. Let me put him down to get him back. But yeah, I think they should rest him. And then that's why you picked up all these free agents. That's why you picked up these running backs. That's why you picked up That's why you picked up LaShawn. That's why you picked up Leonard Fournette. So that's why you picked up these veterans for these situations in case somebody comes down and come into the playoffs. You're going to want to have all your guys fresh and ready to rock and roll, in my opinion. So I agree with Deshaun there. You got to start thinking playoffs. I know Tom Brady said in the interview, we're talking Atlanta Falcons this week. We'll talk about the next week after that. And he's right. But as a player, that's what he should say. But as a head coach and things like that, you got to think about the present and the future. You got to think about your next move as well. Finish the job at hand, but also think about what's going on next, and making sure you're in position to that. Try not to get guys banged up. Try to keep them as healthy as they can, and kind of move on from there. I'll bring Deshaun back whenever he comes back. Not sure what happened. Might have got a phone call or something that came up. It happens. It's live stuff. It happens. And there he goes. We're squeezing back in here in a second.
Hey,
There he is.
hey, you know what? We're live here on the Bucks Report, so things happen.
Yep, things happen. 2020. That should be enough
2020. Yeah, I don't even get it. Listen, you can cut me off in traffic. Like originally, I'm native to New York, so you cut me off in traffic, and you get a 6'4", 300-pound New Yorker just upset at you, and you don't want to see me getting out the car or doing. I don't even give a rat's tail right now about any of that. Like, you could skip me at the store for the most part. You could, I'm not going to complain. Like, too much stuff is going on. Life's too short for some of and I want to get home and be here for my family. So, I'm going to have a problem out of me or little things like that. So I'm prepared for things to happen. The only thing I'm not prepared for to happen is the Falcons beating the Bucks. So
I want to go to the store and deal with it.
Listen, you got to understand what it is to live in hostile territory. If you've ever lived somewhere that is not a fan of what you're a fan of, whatever sport it is, dude, it is the Falcons, because they are so fair weather that when the weather's shining on the Falcons, they let you know it, and they will let you know nothing else but that the Falcons are doing great. So now I'm not the same way. The Falcons aren't doing that bad. I don't badger my neighbors. When they're walking their dogs, they kind of just mosey on by my house because they know what flag's flying in front out here. Yep. But I don't badger them.
Nope. But it's Georgia, it's Atlanta, so they're going to do that, and the Atlanta fans are very fair weather fan. If they're not, Atlanta Falcons aren't winning, they won't talk. They won't talk about them. You won't see the rise up. You won't see none of that. Won't be saying nothing. Now, if they're winning, they're the biggest mouths and the biggest voices. So you're right. They're very fair weather.
For sure. Huge fair weather. But hey, I'm gonna get on here sometime later on today. We want to try to get on some Madden and get a play. It's Friday. We'll have partake in some adult beverage and kind of get ready for this week. Just super hyped for the game. We're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, guys. Can you feel the excitement and just the adrenaline kind of just flowing through? And just feel it. If you can feel it in my voice right now, I'm kind of ready. I want the playoffs to come right now. I mean, it's been so long. Like, it's, Blake, you've been here. You know what it is. Listen, I remember the last playoff game. I'm ready for it. Fans in the seats or not, I'm just so ready. And listen, it does take away the home field advantage for other teams. So at that, looking at that playoff picture, you're talking about, listen, we might have, I want to play the Seahawks in the playoffs. I want to play the Giants, because I feel like when we played, like for the Giants, for example, when we played them, we didn't play our best, So we'll just say, okay, listen, this team's not ready for our best and where we're playing at right now. They may be peaking for where they are for the season, and we haven't begun to peak. Every game, even the last game, we look at it, we say, hey, maybe 4 throws that are errant that we probably go drive and score.
Right.
That's 28 points off the board if you look at it in that fashion, right? Mm-hmm. So you gotta say, and I don't go with kickers, because guess what? We've had kickers lose games for us a ton. That's a part of the game. So I don't want to hear, oh, well, if the kicker hit, how many games we lost because of kickers?
Yeah. You're talking to the wrong ones.
Yeah, like say that to somebody else who hasn't had kicker problems right now. Like, I think Roberto Guayo is not even in the league anymore. Somewhere I was watching, like, he's doing tennis, or is he like doing a tennis internship, or he's like, I don't know, something crazy. It was just like, I'm like, dude, we literally drafted this dude and he's not in the league and he's doing something that's not even pertaining to football right now,
Right.
Makes me wonder. But guess what? We're at the state right now that we don't even have to worry about, we're not talking about the draft. We're talking about playoffs.
Right.
We're at a different speed right now. So I know it's not the Super Bowl just yet that most Buck fans were looking for, but we're talking about playoffs. We're not talking about who we're going to pick up and what Jason Light's going to mess up this year. And we're not arguing about linemen or receivers and we should get that back, or maybe we should get this other quarterback to replace. Nope. None of that. None of that, Bucks fans. We might not even know what to do with ourselves right now, to be honest with you.
I am already thinking about playoffs and thinking about how we're gonna do with all this with the different days with the playoff games, things like so. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Just want the guys to complete the job and get there so we can start talking about it.
Oh, that's right. Because we get to December, we start getting those Saturday games.
Mm-hmm.
Start getting those Saturday games. Start competing. Start watching. But before we would be watching college football to see who's coming up next. I'm still gonna watch college football. National Signing Day just happened for a bunch of young men out here in Georgia. So ton of congratulations to anybody and their family members that signed with any colleges and stuff like that. And they're trying to take it to the next level. So they got to start there at the collegiate level. Congratulations to them. But it is awesome. It's an awesome feeling right now, even in a pandemic, that listen, the Buccaneers are where we are, and we're right now we're a wild card team for the playoffs. I'm not going to talk anything negative. I'm not going anything negative. This week we come out and we go ahead and we beat the Falcons. I'm going to say 34-10, and we get ready for the Lions. Let's go.
That's right. One game at a time. Deshaun, we're going to get out of here. Do you want to tell everybody what you got coming up? You got stuff coming up?
Oh, hey, guys. Just waiting to finalize everything. So you'll probably be seeing me, Deshaun Tisdale, coming to the Bucs Report with my own show, and just going to be having everybody on here. I want you guys to join me. Much of the insight, same type of insight you're going to be getting from Blake, in my perspective, and just anyone that's a Bucs Report fan member, family. By all means, you're welcome to jump in, join with me. I should be coming to you guys. I'll hit you with the dates a little bit later on. I'll pop on everyone's show and kind of hit you guys with the dates once we get everything finalized. But hey, it's going to be Deshaun's 411. It's going to be Deshaun's 3rd and 8, or it's going to be the Tisdale wrap up coming to you on Bucs Report.
I like those. You got a variety of them. You got to feel which one feels right.
Yeah, we got to put that suit on, see which one feels good.
Appreciate you coming on as always, and looking forward to seeing you doing your own live show.
No problem. I'm here with you, though, bro.
Yep. See you, Sean.
Go Bucs.
There he is, the one and only Mr. Tisdale. Oh, that wraps it up for the Friday edition. Looking forward to seeing Peter Blake in the game Sunday for the pre, half, and post game. During live at the Atlanta Falcon game at the Deck Bar and Grill. This show is powered by none other than 320 Solar. Go to 320solar.com. Check out Guerrilla Marketing, mycannabiscard.com, Fast Track Cannabis Clinics, eWire Solutions. Check all of those guys out. And I appreciate everybody coming here, supporting me all these years, supporting Bucs Report and being great, and you guys doing your thing and supporting the Tampa Bay area teams and things like that. So with that being said, well, and it's as we always do, you're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons.
his slow